The truth occurs.
Hi everyone. Well, as you probably know, there's been a lot of controversy about Obama's citizenship and his birth certificate and whether he's an American and eligible for the presidential office that he holds. Well, recently he was subpoenaed by a court in Fulton, Georgia to attend a court hearing on this, but Obama birther case in Georgia unlikely to bring the president despite judge's order. He was subpoenaed by Georgia Deputy Chief Judge Michael Malihi to attend what they're calling here the birther hearing, but Obama and his legal team have said that he's not going to go. Now he's going on a little tour of Las Vegas, Detroit, and Denver instead. Obama is like the nasty ass honey badger. He just doesn't give a shit. So how can he just decide not to go to court? The legal team just said the president shouldn't have to go to a hearing. They didn't exactly prove that this is true. Obviously, Obama's trying to avoid something, but what is he so afraid of? Criminal complaint charges Obama birth record forged. It says here that an international expert on scanners and document imaging software filed a 22-page criminal complaint with the FBI charging that the long-form birth certificate released by the White House is criminally fraudulent. And the name of the person who did this is Doug Vogt. He says that he has irrefutably proven that this document is fraudulent and that obviously this is an impeachable offense. So there may be some good evidence against Obama, and I can understand that he wouldn't want this to come out, but how can he just decide not to show up in court against a subpoena? This article in the National Patriot explains further and shows you the letter that Obama's legal team sent to the Georgia court. Well, what he and his legal team have basically declared is that he is officially above the law. But how can this be? I think this might have something to do with the idea of what constitutes society or a society, and that most of the laws that we have and that supposedly apply to us because they're said to apply to society which is not a specifically named society. It's the society that we're in by default because we're not actually explicitly members of another society that we can name. So if you are in a named society, such as the Children's Aid Society or a secret society, or it could be a fraternal order, or it could also actually be the clergy. If you're a member of another society, a named society, then you're not under the jurisdiction of the laws of the law society as they apply to the rest of us who by default end up under that jurisdiction because we're in society which is an unnamed society. Did that make sense? Okay, let's put it this way. How come the Pope can declare, and he did, that it is not a crime to sexually molest a child. It is a sin, but it is a crime to report it to the police. He did say that, and as you see, priests who engage in pedophilia are not prosecuted under the law. That's because they're not under the jurisdiction of our law enforcement, because they are actually a distinct society. The same goes for example, Children's Aid Society. This is why if somebody reports that their child is being abused while in, say, foster care, they report this to the police will refer them back to the Children's Aid Society because they're a distinct society and they're outside of the jurisdiction of the police. You would think, though, that there are certain laws that apply to all of us, and I think that's the case. That's what you would call common law. So, if somebody murders someone or something like that, they should be under the jurisdiction of the peace officers who are there to enforce common law. But if you're a member of a distinct society, you can be outside of the jurisdiction of the policy enforcement officers as they enforce acts and statutes. It seems to me that doing something like running for office when you are not eligible for it, when you've lied about your birth certificate, that you'd think that would be under common law, but maybe it's not. Maybe it has to do with an act or statute. Maybe Obama is actually a member of a distinct society, maybe a secret society, and maybe he can actually just refuse to go to court and identify himself as being under their jurisdiction, identify himself as being his corporate fictional representation who's under their jurisdiction, by identifying himself as that straw man, that person that's created with his birth certificate, which is a forgery. So maybe he has no straw man. In any case, regardless of why he's doing this and how he can get away with it, the fact that he doesn't want to go to court, I think, shows that he obviously has something to hide, and he has no respect for the judicial system as it applies normally in general to the rest of us. He has no respect for that, and that he obviously doesn't really want to put this issue to rest, because if he really had nothing to hide and the birth certificate was not a forgery, then he should have nothing to fear, as the government likes to tell us, and he should just go there and put the issue to rest. But I think that you and I and a lot of people know that he does have something to hide. So let me know what you think. Why is Obama not going to court? And how can he get away with this? Leave me your comments, and thanks for listening to me, and I'll see you next time.